English Podcast.
From Language Web.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Language Web, the channel where we help you master natural English for real-life situations and IELTS success.
I'm Maria.
And I'm Tom. In today's episode, we're diving into an important and very modern topic from IELTS Speaking Part 3, Teaching Children to Use Technology.
That's right. With screens, apps, and AI everywhere, how do we prepare kids for the digital world without letting it take over their lives?
Good question. In Part 3 of the IELTS Speaking Test, you're often asked to reflect on big ideas. So today we'll explore how children use technology, how it affects their development, and what roles schools and parents should play.
We'll break down sample questions, share useful phrases, and give you tips to sound fluent, thoughtful, and confident in your answers.
So if you've just finished describing your favorite holiday or trip in Part 2, this is the kind of follow-up topic you might get.
Let's get started with the first question. And as always, pause and practice with us.
All right, now that you know what today's topic is all about, let's jump into a realistic IELTS-style dialogue to show you how to answer these types of Part 3 questions naturally and clearly.
In this role play, I'll be the examiner and Tom will be the student. Listen carefully to the way he structures his answers and uses thoughtful vocabulary.
And afterward, we'll break it down so you can learn how to do the same. Let's get into it.
Let's talk about teaching children to use technology. In your opinion, at what age should children start using digital devices like tablets or smartphones?
That's a great question. I believe children can start using digital devices from around the age of 6 or 7, but with strong guidance from adults. At that age, they're starting to develop basic reading and problem-solving skills, so technology can actually support learning, especially with educational apps. However, it's important that the screen time is limited and monitored so it doesn't affect their social or physical development.
What role do you think parents should play in teaching children about technology?
Parents play a crucial role, not just in limiting how much technology their children use, but in teaching them how to use it responsibly. For example, they should explain the importance of privacy, help kids identify trustworthy websites, and encourage them to use devices for creative activities like drawing or storytelling, rather than just passive consumption like watching videos all day.
Do you think schools should include technology education as part of the curriculum?
Absolutely. In today's world, digital literacy is just as important as reading and math. Schools should teach students how to use software, search for information effectively, and understand the risks of the internet, like cyberbullying or misinformation. But it shouldn't replace traditional learning, it should complement it.
Are there any disadvantages to children becoming too reliant on technology?
Yes, definitely. One major concern is that children may lose interest in outdoor play or face-to-face communication. Over time, that could lead to issues with physical health and social skills. Also, when kids rely too much on devices for entertainment, it might affect their creativity and attention span.
All right, now let's break that sample into manageable parts so you can learn how to speak like this in your IELTS Speaking Part 3. Each answer followed a clear structure. Start with an opinion or short introduction. Explain your reason or give examples. Finish with a concluding comment or implication.
Let's take the first question. At what age should children start using digital devices? Tom began with, "That's a great question. I believe children can start using digital devices from around the age of 6 or 7, but with strong guidance from adults."
That's his clear opinion. Then he gave reasons and examples, like, they're starting to develop basic reading and problem-solving skills so technology can actually support learning. And finally, he ended with a thoughtful point. It's important that the screen time is limited and monitored so it doesn't affect their development. This structure keeps your answer organized and complete, which helps your coherence and cohesion score in IELTS. Let's highlight some natural and high-scoring phrases Tom used. Key phrase. That's a great question. Why it's useful. a polite, natural way to begin thinking time. I believe, in my opinion. Clear, confident, personal opinion. With strong guidance from adults. Adds nuance and responsibility to the answer. Play a crucial role. Stronger and more formal than important. Digital literacy is just as important as reading and math. Balanced comparison. Great for development and cohesion.
Let's talk pronunciation. Linking words and sentence stress really help you sound fluent. For example, can actually support learning. Listen how the words connect smoothly. Can actually support learning. It flows naturally. Parents play a crucial role. Here, I stressed crucial to highlight the key idea.
When you stress the right words, your ideas sound more confident and focused. And when you link your words, your fluency score goes up. Let's upgrade some common phrases you might use. Weaker. Important. Stronger. Crucial. Essential. Help. Support. Guide. Bad effects. Negative consequences. Drawbacks. Learn how to use. Become digitally literate, or use responsibly. Use too much. Overuse, or become overly reliant.
Try replacing everyday words with more precise vocabulary. That's how you move from band 6 to band 7 or 8. All right, now that we've broken down the first sample and looked at structure, vocabulary, and pronunciation,
It's time to show you another example, but this one's got a more relaxed, conversational feel.
yeah, in this version, I'll still give solid IELTS answers, but you'll hear more natural expressions, a few hesitations, and even some idioms, the kind of language native speakers really use.
Exactly. Think of it as the kind of response you might hear from someone who's confident, but still keeping it real, nothing robotic or overly formal.
So if you want to sound more fluent and authentic in your IELTS speaking test, listen closely.
Here comes sample dialogue 2. Let's dive in. How has technology changed the way children learn compared to the past?
Yeah, it's changed a lot, honestly. I mean, back in the day, most learning was through books or in-class lectures. But now, kids have access to videos, apps, and even AI tutors. It's kind of amazing. They can just Google anything they're curious about. But at the same time, I think it's a double-edged sword. You know, too much tech can make them less focused or overly dependent on fast answers.
Do you think children are becoming too dependent on technology for learning?
Yeah, I'd say so to some extent. Like, these days, if there's no internet, some kids don't even know how to get started with homework. It's like, if the Wi-Fi goes out, everything just comes to a standstill. I think it's important they also learn how to figure things out the old-fashioned way sometimes, using books or just thinking things through without always relying on Google or ChatGPT.
What do you think are some ways schools can encourage a healthy balance between technology and traditional learning?
Good question. I guess schools could mix it up more, like use tablets for some lessons, but also do hands-on activities like group projects or outdoor learning, and maybe have screen-free days. That might sound old school, but it gives students a break and helps them connect more with their classmates. At the end of the day, it's all about balance, right?
Do you think all children should learn basic coding or programming?
I think so. At least the basics. I mean, tech is everywhere now, and understanding how things work behind the scenes can be super useful. Even if they don't become programmers, it helps with logical thinking. Plus, it gives them a bit of an edge in the job market later on. So yeah, it's kind of like teaching them how to read and write, just for the digital world.
Let's start by looking at the structure of each answer in the second sample. Even though it's more relaxed, it still follows the same solid format. Example 1. Question. How has technology changed the way children learn compared to the past? Tom structure. Intro. Yeah, it's changed a lot, honestly. Main details. Kids have access to videos, apps, and even AI tutors. It's kind of amazing. They can just Google anything they're curious about. But at the same time, I think it's a double-edged sword. Too much tech can make them less focused or overly dependent on fast answers.
Even though I spoke casually, I still gave a clear opinion, explained why, and wrapped up with a final thought. That's exactly what IELTS examiners look for.
Now let's look at the natural, high-scoring phrases from this dialogue.
Back in the day. A casual way to refer to the past, great for a natural tone. It's a double-edged sword. An idiom that shows complexity, great for higher-level thinking. Comes to a standstill. Vivid imagery, stronger than saying stops. Mix it up. Informal and expressive, good for variety. Old-fashioned way, a relatable and clear contrast to modern tech. At the end of the day, idiomatic wrap-up phrase. Super useful, more natural and conversational than just helpful.
Let's look at some alternatives to boost your lexical resource score. Weaker. Changed. Stronger, used in the sample. Has changed a lot. Or, it's a double-edged sword. Stop. Comes to a standstill. Use tech too much. Overly dependent, or rely too much. Learn more. Figure things out, or be curious. Help. Super useful, or support learning.
Remember, you don't have to sound overly academic. In Part 3, clarity and variety are more important than showing off fancy words.
Right. In this sample, I used natural linking, like they can just Google anything. Said smoothly, without pauses. They can just Google anything. And listen to stress in phrases like, at the end of the day. It's a double-edged sword. The key words are stressed to highlight the meaning.
So what can you take away from this? Keep your answers structured, even in casual English. Use idioms and real-life expressions naturally. Upgrade your vocabulary without sounding memorized. Link your speech and stress key points to sound fluent.
And remember, sounding natural doesn't mean being informal or sloppy. It means speaking with confidence, variety, and clarity. All right, before we go, it's time for your Language Web Challenge. Are you ready?
Here it is. Challenge. Choose one of the following questions and record yourself answering it in 1 minute. What role should parents play in teaching children to use technology? Do you think schools rely too much on digital tools? What are the risks of introducing technology too early in a child's life?
When you answer, try to use one idiom or natural expression, show clear structure, opinion, reasons, conclusion. Use one upgraded vocabulary word from today's episode.
You can even write it down first, then speak it aloud to practice fluency. And hey, if you want feedback, drop your response in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.
So, today we explored a big modern topic, teaching children to use technology, and showed you how to sound natural, thoughtful, and confident in IELTS Part 3.
We gave you 2 sample dialogues, one more formal, one more casual, plus tips on structure, vocabulary, pronunciation, and style.
And remember, speaking well takes practice. So, keep showing up, keep trying, and don't worry about being perfect. Aim for clear, natural communication.
Thanks for joining us here at Language Web. If this episode helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who's also studying for IELTS.
See you in the next one, and until then,
Keep learning, keep growing, and stay connected with Language Web.